Thank you, sir. Good evening, members of the board. Earlier this year, the superintendent directed staff to further investigate an issue of shortage of capacity or permanent seats in the schools located in the Cross Keys cluster. As many of you are aware, this cluster, located in Region 1, extends along the Buford Highway corridor, which traverses from the city of Atlanta to the south and southeast to the Gwinnett County line to the north and northeast. Over the next few slides, I would like to provide some additional clarity relative to the specific issues at hand. Over the next few years, we anticipate that the Cross Keys cluster will be over capacity by 3,000 seats by the fall of 2017 based on our projected enrollment. In an effort to address this issue in most recent years, the Operations Division, in conjunction with the Division of School Leadership and Operations, has installed portable classroom units at various school sites within the Cross Keys cluster. Due to site constraints, Cary Reynolds and Dresden Elementary Schools will not be able to accommodate any additional portable classrooms in the fall of 2016. This summer, we're adding 16 new portable classrooms at these two locations combined, which will max out the space at these two campuses.
Mr. Williams,
yes, sir.
Excuse me. Could you start over? Mr. Kim Grocher here was absent and tardy, and I want him to hear your presentation. So thank you, Kim, for coming back.
Yes, sir.
Since you have been to the board consistently on this issue since for at least the last 2 years, I wanted you to be here to hear. And no problem. You don't apologize.
Well,
important. This is something you'll be really interested in.
all right. Well, thank you again, Mr. Thurman. Good evening, members of the board and Mr. Kim. Earlier this year, Superintendent Thurman directed staff to further investigate the issues relative to the shortage of capacity or permanent seats in the schools located in the Cross Keys cluster. As many of you are aware, this cluster, located in Region 1, extends along the Buford Highway corridor, which traverses from the city of Atlanta on the south and the southwest to the Gwinnett County line to the north and northeast. Over the next few slides, I would like to provide some additional clarity relative to the situation at hand. Over the next few years, we anticipate that the Cross Keys cluster will be over capacity by 3,000 seats by the fall of 2017, based on projected enrollment. In an effort to address this issue in most recent years, the Operations Division, in conjunction with the Division of School Leadership and Operations, has installed portable classroom units at various school sites within the Cross Keys cluster. Due to site constraints, Cary Reynolds and Dresden Elementary Schools will not be able to accommodate any additional portable classrooms in the fall of 2016. This summer, we are adding 16 new portable classrooms at these two locations combined, which will max out the available space at these two campuses. Similarly, Montclair and Woodward Elementary Schools will not be able to accommodate any additional portable classrooms in the fall of 2017. On this slide, you can see the overall growth in the elementary school enrollment for the 4 elementary schools in the Cross Keys cluster. These schools include Woodward Elementary, Montclair Elementary, Dresden Elementary, and Cary Reynolds Elementary School. In the fall of 2010, these 4 schools were slightly over capacity. Since this time, the growth in this cluster has grown dramatically over its expected enrollment. Given the enhanced planning tools, resources, and data readily available to us at this time, we expect the elementary schools in this cluster to be more than 1,700 seats over capacity by the fall of 2016. We see this growing enrollment trend continuing beyond FY 2018. Sequoia Middle School, as you know, serves as the middle school for the cluster. In the fall of 2014, Sequoia Middle School exceeded its capacity and is projected to be over capacity by roughly 325 students in the fall of 2016. Likewise, to the middle school, Cross Keys High School has also exceeded its building capacity in the fall of this past fall and is expected to be over capacity by more than 400 seats by the fall of 2016. In summary, the Cross Keys cluster has extended or has exceeded its physical building capacity on every level, middle, elementary, as well as the high school levels. Furthermore, we would like to discuss and propose a three-phased approach to address the issues as previously mentioned. Phase 1, which is already underway, addresses the upcoming 2015-2016 school year. This phase includes adding 19 portable classrooms, additional classrooms, to the 4 elementary schools campuses, which will bring the total number of classrooms up from 63 to 82 portable classrooms for the next school year. Additionally, we're adding a combined 16 additional portable classrooms to Sequoia Middle School and Cross Keys High School, effectively doubling the number of portables at these 2 campuses. We are in the process of relocating the International Student Center from its current location off North Druid Hills Road to the former Midway Elementary School facility for the upcoming school year. This relocation will allow for the reduction of 16 portable classrooms and will provide adequate space to house the 700-plus students currently supported by the International Student Center. The second phase of this proposed recommendation will further address overcapacity issues in the cluster in preparation for the 2016-2017 school year. During the upcoming school year, we will add additional portable classrooms to the school sites that can accommodate them. Based on our current projections, Cary Reynolds and Dresden Elementary School, as previously noted, will not be able to accommodate additional units due to their space and site constraints. Consequently, district staff is developing a proposed strategy for the temporary relocation of the 4th or 5th grades at these 2 schools. Additionally, staff will propose an attendance area alteration to utilize the former International Student Center facility to serve approximately 350 to 400 students who are currently in the Woodward Elementary and Montclair Elementary attendance areas. Lastly, the board may need to consider a reduction in the number of pre-K classes offered at the elementary schools in the Cross Keys cluster. Please note that these options above are simply options that will need to be further investigated and brought back to the board for your input and approval over the next 6 to 9 months in support of the 2016-2017 school year. Our final phase considers a more permanent strategy to address the overcapacity issues in the Cross Keys cluster for the fall of 2017 and beyond. This proposed strategy could include the repurposing and renovation of the former Briarcliff High School to provide additional capacity. Additionally, this strategy could include the design and construction of new elementary schools to address the capacity in the 4 elementary schools within the cluster. In order to implement this proposed strategy, the board may need to consider a bond sale for the renovation of Briarcliff High School, as well as for the land purchase, design, and construction efforts needed to build new elementary schools in that particular area. In closing, as presented, a formal strategy to address the overcrowding or the overcapacity issues in the Cross Keys cluster must be developed in the next several months. Our division looks forward to working with the board, the superintendent, as well as district staff to finalize and approve a formal plan that would allow us to move forward in an appropriate way to address this growing concern. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Chair, I don't know whether you might have questions or not. I don't know.
Any comments? Mr. Orson?
And I appreciate this is very preliminary. I know the Cross Keys communities appreciate that it's on our radar and at least being addressed. I think there are some things that and this is all on the analysis stage, I get that. So I would throw out a couple things that I hope are entertained as you go through this. One is to recognize that I think part of this problem is the shape of the cluster that we've formed that runs, as you mentioned, from the city line of Atlanta to Gwinnett County. I mean, we have created a cluster that is the leftover parts of other clusters, and until we have an honest conversation about that, about something that's more compact, that recognizes where the population is and doesn't really just shove in pieces. I think we're going to continue to struggle not only with the size of the cluster, but also in the efforts to build community around that cluster. And I think I don't have an answer to that. I just think that should be part of the discussion that we have. The second, and again, I appreciate this is just you're throwing out ideas. I am a little worried about the notion of eliminating pre-K classes anywhere, but particularly in a high poverty area where there aren't readily available other options for citizens, and quite often they are lacking the resources to go into either private pre-K programs or pre-K programs that may be state operated but still have a fairly high cost factor for aftercare and so forth that isn't always present. And third, I think in part of this analysis, and I appreciate your bringing the Briarcliff campus into this, that we need, I think, also a global view of, because you mentioned in here there may need to be land acquisitions and bond referendums. I think as you develop this, we need a snapshot of what other available land possibilities are within, however we ultimately, even if the cluster remains as it is, so that, again, we're looking for contiguous places in the most compact area possible, because, again, I don't think we want to compound the problems. We want to really find long-term solutions to the challenges, particularly with this growing population.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Chair, the primary purpose of, and actually this work, along with Ms. Brixton, Mr. Williams, planning with Mr. Drake and others, as well as Dr. Thompson, has been ongoing now for at least throughout this year. The primary purpose here is to make sure that this is on the radar screen, as Mr. Orson said. This is the result of decades of neglect and oversight. Let's just be honest. And what we hope to do is now to begin to focus a strategy going forward that will address this problem. It's not going to go away. It's only going to become more severe. And just one point, you mentioned pre-K. That's only an option if we do nothing else. That is the last option that we would have to face. But unless we do something else, that will become a very difficult decision that might have to be made. I want to thank Mr. Williams, his staff, for the work and for the advocacy that brought this issue, not just from the Cross Keys cluster through Kim, but also from Briarcliff, who has continually sought to focus our attention on utilizing this historic and one-of-a-kind facility. And I just hope going forward we'll be able to do what other boards and school administrations have not done, which is address this problem.